How are we going, everybody? I'm out at the orchard. I haven't been in here for a couple of weeks to see how the plants are going. We've got a lot of trees with a lot of flowers coming up, and I just want to have a walk around and see what's happening. And the first thing that came in front of me, well, the first thing that I spotted here is this olive tree, which I'm trying to keep them all down. I want to keep them all quite small. These are the older ones that I've had here. And I've noticed the new growth coming out of the base here. See all this stuff here? 1, 2. I'm hoping I can get another one coming out here, maybe on the other side. But nevertheless, 2 is better than none, because this is way too high already. This used to be actually a topiary tree, a ball. For the life of me, I don't know why I did it back then. I thought it'll be fun. You know, I'm sure many of you probably got some of these in your garden as topiaries and features, but I want this olive tree to produce fruit. It's a Kalamata, so I'm actually going to cut it back down to here. Not today. I just noticed it today, so we'll come back another day. We're going to cut this off. It's not too late to do that with your tree, especially this time of the year. Cutting larger limbs is probably safer to do this time of year. You're not putting as much stress on the roots, as long as you seal the cut that you made, the open wound. I mean, it'll callus over on its own, but if you don't cut it properly or you get a bit too much moisture going into it, it can probably cause a bit of dieback. So to avoid that, just seal it over. We'll come back and deal with this one. It'll be a shock treatment when I finish with it. Anyway, let's go over here. Let's go and check out some of these trees. Look at this, it's in full flower now. How gorgeous is this? This was dying back. This is an old tree. I had this one in a pot as well. And I cut it back and cleaned it up, and it's got some beautiful growth on it now. What I'm going to do also with these trees here, folks, a lot of you have been emailing because you've been getting the specials on that black grit, and I thought I'll just give you a couple more pointers because the question's coming in: how often do I use it? How do I apply? What's the ratio to apply? Well, quite simple. It's a handful like that per square metre, and throw it all the way around. Now, I've got weeds over here. I'm going to brush cut all these down. Underneath that, I've got all my mulch and compost and irrigation. That's all you need to do with a small tree like that. 1 handful, 2 handfuls is all you need to apply. You don't need any more than that. That will work its way down. If you can't dig it into the soil because you've got existing roots or you've got weeds or grass growing over the top, that's okay. The stuff will work its way through when you add water to it or when it rains. On smaller plants, again, the same thing. So the larger the tree, for example, that olive tree we saw earlier, 5 to 10-year-old tree, you can put up to half a kilo of the stuff, but you're not going to put it in 1 square metre. You're actually going to work out, and I'll do it just for a demonstration. You do it over here. We're talking about 4 or 5 square metres, so a handful per square metre. I'm not going to get an even spread like that. 3, I've lost count, doesn't matter. You know what, the best part about this is you can't overdo it. 4, and why I'm going all the way out here for the larger trees, and it's the same thing about these small trees. The roots do grow past the little hole or circle you cut around them. So you may have lawn everywhere and you've got a, I don't know, 60 centimetre radius or diameter, 1 metre diameter area which is mulched. That's nice as the aesthetics of it as a feature, but it doesn't mean the roots only stay there. So when you're feeding your plants, don't just feed into this little area like that. Work your way further out. Whether there's lawn there, if there's concrete, you can't. Whether there's lawn there or other plants in the garden bed, just be cautious of the other plants if they're smaller plants. But if it's a large area of lawn, there's no reason why you can't feed out there. And in particular with the black grit, the phosphate, lawns need it because it's a root and blade all in one. So when you feed the plants like the lawn, the phosphate in the black grit is going to make your lawn grow twice as strong. 100% it will. Give it a go if you've got a really weak lawn and you watch the difference in it. And for plants like this, they love it because the calcium silicate is going to make these flowers bloom beautifully. Even stronger, they'll keep their flowers longer. We've got apple trees flowering. We've got peach tree going, another one here that's about to burst out. See, every plant's got its own little cycle. Some plants will flower earlier than others. You can't control that. I mean, if you've got the same variety of apples or pears or plums, yes, like if you've got Gala apples or Granny Smith, for example, they should flower at the same time. So if I've got 5 rows of Galas here going at the same time, I should see flowers coming up all within the same week. But these here, there's one of every kind. That's why you can see some bursting out, some peaches are, some aren't. That's opened up its flowers. This hasn't, and it's not too late to prune and clean them up if you haven't done so. And it's all about the dead, damaged and diseased wood. See that there? Dead wood. Cut that out. And while you're at it, throw some black grit around it. It's crazy, I know. I love the stuff. Look at this. This was given to me. This looks like a plum, like an ornamental plum. It actually does produce little fruit like that. I think we had some last year, little green ones. Now, I cut these really hard. And for those who said to me I'm crazy why I did that, it's because I want to shape the trees from the start, not from once they get too woody. And this was an advanced tree. This was quite tall actually. The stem's about, what, 20, 30 centimetres in diameter here. This stood about 5, 6 foot high. It was way too high. Look at the dense growth that's coming on in here at the moment. Now, I need to clean this up. I need to actually take all this out, but not yet. I want this to grow out a little bit more. Let's see where the new shoots come from, where the strengths are, where the weaknesses are. And then we go inside and clean out all the unnecessary little growth that we have inside there, so we can aerate it, get some airflow in here, because this is perfect for aphids to come on and destroy the tree. What about this one here? How gorgeous are these flowers, eh? Even the bloody hole at the bottom of it. Look at this. Rabbits, huh? This is what happens. Now folks, most of these trees had tree guards around them when I first planted them. Well, actually all of them did. They all had a tree guard around them. You could see 1, 2, 3, well, half a dozen or so they've blown away, because this is blowy plains, I call it, not golden plains. So I do have to install the guards again, because they'll get to the base of these trees and ring bark them, and then I've got to have some big problems. More holes over here. Hey, Cara, why aren't you doing your job? Got you out here to hunt the rabbits, haven't I? Well, they are sniffing around now, can't they see? Look at this one. This is a golden delicious, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, it is. Hasn't even budged yet. Nothing at all. Beautiful apple. Bit of grass, bit of black grit around this one too, like that. But look at the one on the side here. This one's in full flight already. Now tell me this is not going to be an early ripening variety. Dorset Golden, it's called. Never grew this one before. I know some of you might have it. It's a heritage variety. Put a bit of black grit around this as well. Look at the flowers. Our bees are going to love this. Folks, with weeds under your trees, keep them to a minimum. I'm going to brush cut this. You can see, look at that. I've got the mulch here. This is the mulch. It's breaking down. It's alive. Yeah, root competition, sure, there'll be a little bit of that, as long as you give them hydration if they need it and give them the fertilizer they need. That's all the tree needs. It'll find its way through it. There's a synergy going on down there. There's a whole universe of microbes and fungi and all bacteria going on. And all we got to do is give it a bit of black grit, compost and manure, and it's water if it doesn't rain. And that's it, folks. Really, that's it. And all you've got to do above ground is look for dead, disease and damaged wood this time of year. If there's anything that's not growing and it looks like it's died back, cut it off, don't leave it on there. If it's too dense, thin it out a little bit. Not going to hurt the plant. When you prune now, it's not going to kill your plant. It's actually going to relieve the root system from all that stress and trying to hydrate that entire plant. So if your trees look like they're struggling, cut them back. Don't wait. The longer you leave it, the harder it is to fix the problem and bring the tree back to life. These have been cut to half their last year's size, and I expect them to jump out of the ground again this year. But I've got to run around now and apply the black grit. Then sit back and wait for the magic to happen, folks. If you haven't fertilised your garden, don't waste any more time. Get out there and get the compost, get the manures in there, get your black grit onto the garden. And if you're looking for the specials, we've got them running still. So for all of you who've been complaining, saying the specials are off, no, they're not. You're on the wrong website. Our website is still running. That's vasilisgarden.com. I'm not going anywhere, folks. I'm here to stay. If you're looking for our products, go to vasilisgarden.com. We've got our black grit special. Buy one, get one free. It's a twin pack, actually. It's 4 kilos times 2 for only $20, and there's a heap of other great specials running there. They'll be continuously running for a few more days. Check it all out, vasilisgarden.com. Take advantage of the specials and the secret code, which is secret. And if you can't order online, go to 1300 627 374. From me, Vasili, Maresi, happy gardening.